This is John Locke, and today I want to talk about something that gets repeated a lot when we talk about SEO, and I want to really examine whether it's true or not. And that thing is that if you publish great content, if you put great content out there, that you're automatically going to get backlinks. And I think in some cases that's true, but I think in the majority of cases it's probably not true. So I want to preface this by saying that I do believe that you're not going to get any backlinks without great content. You have to have good content for people to want to link to it, whether it's a guide, a PDF, a video, how-to, something you have to put out there. It has to be good enough for people to want to link to it and inspire them to do it. It has to be useful. So what inspired this video today is I was looking through Reddit and I seen the SEO channel, and somebody was talking about the fact that they had found a lot of success in ranking for their target terms, and they owned a cleaning agency and they were really successful with SEO. And so they wanted to focus on creating content and doing SEO, but they were focusing more on the home and garden niche, I think is what they were saying. So I don't know all the particulars of this case, but the person was saying that they were very frustrated because they had just put out a 3,000 word article, and I think the implication was that they had paid to have somebody do it for them. But it was what we call skyscraper technique, skyscraper content, I should say. Brian Dean, a famous SEO consultant, is the person that kind of inspired that term, skyscraper content. But the 3,000 word article, I'm assuming it was on either home and garden or cleaning. I'm not really sure which one. But they had shared it on Twitter and Facebook and Medium to try and get Google to index it, but they were frustrated that people weren't linking to it. And so they were coming to the conclusion that if you produce great content, it's not going to get backlinks on its own. And there's a fallacy to that. Now, a couple observations that I'm going to have here. One is that most of the people that you hear saying, create great content and it'll get backlinks on its own, are usually marketers or people in web design or web development or something of that nature. And most of those people are, even if they don't have great content, it's going to get links from somewhere because people in the marketing, web design space, they all know each other. Somebody's going to link to it at some point. One of their friends is going to link to it from somewhere. So I think if you're a marketer putting out content, if it's, above average, if it's above the basic level, then it's going to get links. If you do something that's truly groundbreaking, then it's going to get more links. Just on the fact that marketers know each other. I think for everybody else that's in a blue-collar industry, if you're out there cleaning carpets or repairing furnaces or repairing cars or manufacturing parts for other people to use, I think it's a little bit different. So here's what I have found tends to get linked from my own site and what I've seen other people getting links for no matter what the industry. Far and away, the type of content that gets links more than any other type of content is either a tutorial or a how-to guide. So if you're solving a common problem and you're showing people how to do something, then it's probably going to get some links. And you can point at a site like wikihow.com, and most of their content is really basic, walkthroughs of like how to do this, how to do that. Some of it's really basic stuff, some of it's for some pretty outlandish stuff, but they walk through step by step. They have illustrations, so they're putting a little bit of effort into each piece of content that they do, but that seems to get a lot of links. I can testify that most of the things that I get links for on my site are how-tos. They're code tutorials or how-to tutorials or guides. Most of the people I see that are out there creating content, same thing. For people in the blue collar thing. Now, if you were a person that was creating content for carpet cleaning or home cleaning and you were ranking on that, there's not a lot of competition for great content. And I hate to say that, but there is a lower bar to ranking for that, because the level of content that's out there is not as extensive as it is in some other areas. Now, if you were a person that was branching out into home and garden, there's a lot more competition. And so getting it to rank, I think, would be the first thing that I would focus on, because if you're buried on page 10 or if you're on page 12 of Google, nobody's going to link to it, because nobody's going to find it. And because the fact of the matter is there's so much content out there for home and garden, it's really competitive. So even getting to page 2 or 3 is going to be difficult. And so what I would do is a couple things. If you're creating content, I would put your own personal expertise into it. Give it your own brand voice. And we've talked about this before, but I think having your own voice on something really makes a big difference. Don't go to Fiverr and have somebody create a long form piece of content, because it's basically going to be cobbled together from existing content out there. And it might be grammatically correct. That doesn't mean that it's high quality. For something to be truly remarkable and high quality, it has to have some sort of unique spin on it. So if you can interject your own personal experience or your own voice into that somehow, I think that's going to go a lot farther. Number 2, you might try and make some sort of tutorial or how-to if you're trying to just get links. I don't know what your particular piece of content is with 3,000 words on cleaning. I'm not really sure. But it's got to be something, if it's like a how-to. I think one of the people in the forum, they said this, if it was a how-to for college kids, 5 ways to keep your pimp pad or your party pad clean, then that might be a better hook than just, here's a guide to cleaning. Because I think if it's too boring, then people won't want to link to it or even read it. And that brings me into the next thing, is there's got to be some kind of emotional hook to your content. It's got to resonate with people on some gut feeling level. So just having things be statistically correct is not always enough. You've got to have some sort of thing in there that resonates with them on a personal level, where they're not going to want to finish reading it, much less link to it. The fourth thing that I would say with this is, if you can invest in some sort of illustrations, or break that content up with images, some sort of thing to where it's not just a wall of text, that might be a good way to go. And if you're still not finding success, if people are still not linking to it, reach out to some of your friends that are in the home and garden. If you're coming from a cleaning agency background and you're writing about home and garden, you must know some people that have blogs that can throw you a link here and there. They might not do it on their own. And if that fails, what I would do is, go into home and garden forums and maybe, seed the linking, have it start there, and you might get thrown out of some of these forums for being spammy. But if there's a way to genuinely interject your content into those conversations, and you have to be a little patient about that and find the right thread to come in on. Don't come in on a thread that's like 5 years old and try and link to it. But if you genuinely hang around there trying to help people, and then when you find opportunity to put your long form article in there as a helpful guide for somebody who's actually needing help, then that might be a good way to start seeding that linking chain. Sometimes you have to employ a little bit of guerrilla marketing, if you're catching my drift. So I hope that answers your question. Yes, just because you create great content doesn't mean that it's going to get links automatically. If you're a marketer, maybe, but if you're in some other vertical and there's a lot of competition, it's going to be unlikely that Google's just going to rocket you to the top for no reason. So, be creative and be helpful in trying to approach people about getting links. Don't expect it to happen on its own. Don't be too proud to ask for links from other people that have websites that are in that particular vertical. Hope that answers your question. Hope that gives you some insight. My name's John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO. We help manufacturing and industrial firms with SEO so they get more RFQs. If you have an SEO question that you would like to see us answer, go ahead and drop it in the comments below and we'll answer it out in a future video for you. We're publishing every week, so there's no reason for you not to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. That's it for now. Until next time, peace.